Can we hear from Adriane Hoff?
Great to see you guys.
What's going on? What are you doing?
Staying incredibly busy with Neighborhood Council and Streets for All. As you know, I am working to get a portion of 6th Street closed off to vehicle traffic so it can be turned into kind of like a community plaza of sorts. There's several reasons why I was inspired to do that. I mean, the idea has kind of been percolating in the back of my head for probably a year and a half at least now.
6th Street is in Koreatown area of Los Angeles.
So it would be between Normandy and Vermont. That's the proposed segment. It's like a good half mile at least, about I think 7 blocks. So I decided that would be a good corridor because it's got a really high concentration of small businesses, tons of restaurants, boutiques, nail parlors, places like that. And so now in particularly that we're dealing with trying to operate businesses during the pandemic, where nearly everything has to be outdoors or at limited capacity inside, having that space would just kind of give a boost to a lot of those businesses. Additionally, Koreatown is also super park poor. Gosh, I don't have the statistics right in front of me, but like it is just absolutely tragic how little park space that we have compared to the rest of the city. And the majority of the neighborhood is not within a 10-minute walk of a park. So that's really kind of unfortunate. But all of the public space we do have is being devoted to streets. And in Los Angeles, streets generally are for cars. So time to reclaim that, in my opinion. And additionally, too, our streets are like largely on the high injury network. If you take a map of the high injury network and just lay it over our streets in Koreatown, it's almost exactly the same map. So 6th Street is one of those. And Wilshire, just a block south of 6th Street, is also on the high injury network. So obviously traffic would probably get diverted to Wilshire. And I know like one of the things that people are concerned about is that going to make traffic really bad? I live directly on Wilshire and I look out my window and I see traffic is moving fairly well. So even adding that additional traffic, yes, it will slow things down, but slowing things down is a good thing when it comes to safety. The way that people drive down 6th Street, which is also kind of a bit of a narrow street, they drive down it like it's a highway. They're going 45, 50 miles an hour sometimes. And with all the bars and restaurants on there, very often people are intoxicated. And we've seen some really awful crashes there where people just like killed on impact, sort of bad. So if we can slow down that traffic that gets diverted on Wilshire, that's all the better. That's going to be so many more lives saved, less injuries for people that live and travel through the community. So for those 3 reasons, I think that this is going to be a win. We started doing the outreach not very long ago, maybe about a week and a half ago, maybe. And we've gotten nearly 500 responses so far. And last I checked, the support was at 78%, which is phenomenal. I've worked on several other advocacy projects for street reconfiguration projects, and I have never seen support that high for it.
Are you guys going to businesses and residents with petitions? Is that kind of how you're gathering the support?
We're still in the very early stages. So right now, what we've got is an online survey where people can check off different amenities that they would like to see on there. I can share it in the chat in a bit as well too for you all if you're interested in checking out like what the feedback looks like. But we're obviously going to expand that. I want to hold monthly, like kind of like Q&A sessions with the community, and some that are specifically targeted to the businesses like along 6th Street and Wilshire as well too. I know that a lot of business owners are concerned about like, well, how are people going to get here? But as I'm sure you all know, since we're all transportation advocates, it's kind of like a false assumption that cars equal business and having parking equals business. But when you look at communities that have reconfigured streets or even completely removed cars from streets, they've seen an increase in retail spending. So if
like a Third Street promenade in Santa Monica, which
yeah,
is like a huge, it's basically like an outdoor mall.
totally.
But it once was a street with cars.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up the Third Street promenade because I mean that's the obvious comparison. But there's a few very distinct things that are different about that. So the Third Street promenade is managed by a private developer. The goal with 6th Street is to have this be a community-focused project. So that's why the outreach is so necessary, to make sure that this is going to serve the community that's already here. So this doesn't end up becoming a vehicle for gentrification, where then the developers are just essentially preying on the community, rents are going up even more, and the people who are here can no longer enjoy the community that they've been investing in.
There would be bicycle traffic allowed east-west on 6th Street, I imagine. Yes?
Maybe, and that's definitely something that we're looking for feedback on, but possibly not, because 4th Street, 2 blocks north, is a slow street. I mean, considering how bad the traffic and parking situation is in Koreatown, it's just a slow street in name only. Like I've tried utilizing it and claiming my space on 4th Street to use it as a slow street. And one time I even had a car like intentionally swerve towards me to try to intimidate me out of the street. Like it is just that bad with traffic violence in Koreatown, which some people say, well, then we just shouldn't have them. But in my opinion, that means, no, we should up the game with slow streets. And LADOT is working to make the slow street program permanent. And the way that they were going to go about it was really insufficient. And so me and a group of other slow street sponsors wrote a letter to them saying, like, here's some other options that we think would work even better. And it seems like they might be amenable to that. So if they roll it out in a way where it actually slows down traffic and deters vehicle traffic, 4th Street will be open to bike traffic, and would hopefully then, if it's done correctly, make that safe space for cyclists to use it.
In the comparison to like 3rd Street, there's north-south streets between Normandy and Vermont. Would those be preserved as through streets, kind of the way that 3rd Street does it, where like I think it's like Montana or Colorado or something like that will cut through east-west, you know, with 3rd Street being a north-south street, there's still some east-west points where cars can get through. It makes it a little more palatable, maybe.
Yeah, that's how I'm envisioning things, that the north-south corridors will still remain open and there'll still be lights that pedestrians will have to respect in order to cross. When I was kind of like scoping things out and kind of walking the corridor to kind of get an early assessment on things, like I noticed that there were a lot of like accessibility points, like for parking instructions and parking lots along the side streets, which makes things easy, but it also kind of means that you have to keep those north-south corridors open for those access points.
Now, I'd imagine you'd have to really get active with the business groups in Koreatown to make this happen. There's a ton of businesses in that corridor right there.
Yeah, working on getting support from the Business Improvement District. Their region, I think, is from 3rd Street on the north to, I think, 8th Street on the south. But having their buy-in is going to be vital.
Is there a call to action?
We have the survey link. And so anybody who is a stakeholder in the Koreatown area, we would love to have your input on this. And also on Monday, the Wilshire Center Koreatown Neighborhood Council is having our general meeting. And so we have it on the agenda to approve a letter of support for this project that would go to the council member, Mark Ridley Thomas, for support. So it's a pretty thorough letter, kind of explaining like why a project like this is necessary, how it would benefit the community, and also even outlining the certain issues that this could, that like not issues, but hurdles that would have to jump over in order to make this happen. So obviously, like the concerns of the community that we've been hearing so far are parking, gentrification concerns, and also concerns about the unhoused community that live along 6th Street.
And the link again?
I'll drop that in the chat.
I'll try to say it.
Yeah, it's a really weird, wonky.
How do you Google it?
We'll include it with our Facebook post.
Okay, cool.
When we put this up.
I want to.
You know what? You mentioned Mark Ridley Thomas is the council member for that area. For some reason, I thought that was Council District 4. What is that district?
Council District 10.
Oh, okay. Huh. Interesting. Because Council District 4 covers part of Koreatown. I was hoping it was going to be Nithya Rahman who's sort of overseeing this, because I feel like she would be more friendly. How do things look with Mark Ridley? Is it Mark Ridley Thomas?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. When I first
he's pro bike and pro walking.
He's not anti-bike or anti-walking. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
And so I kind of get the from the initial temperature checks on how he is with this kind of stuff. I kind of get the feeling that he's very open to this kind of stuff. He might not have strong positions himself on this kind of thing, but he is very open to hearing what the community has to say about these kinds of things. So here, I'm dropping it in there now.
Thanks.
But yeah, so I've mentioned it to a few of his deputies and everything, and they were all like, "Oh, this is interesting." Okay. So hoping that once this goes back to his office, that and so far, I mean, he's only been in office for like a couple of months now, and his office so far has been far more responsive than his predecessor has. So I'm feeling pretty good about that.
All right.
Prior to Mark Ridley Thomas being elected to CD10, when I initially had this idea, I was actually talking to Herb Wesson's office about it to kind of see if they thought it was possible. And they certainly weren't saying no by any means. They were giving me like the honest answers of what hurdles I would have to clear in order to make this happen. But I also kind of got the impression that there was less enthusiasm there.
Well, I have a feeling if you draw comparisons to 3rd Street Promenade with the business groups, you might win some support there.
Yeah.
Businesses are always looking to
All right.
up
Thank
the
you
game.
so much, Adriane. We will hope for updates.
Okay, great. And yes, I will keep you all updated about how this goes. Thank you all so much for inviting me on to talk about this and for supporting 6th Street Project.
Cool.
All right.
Take care. I got another meeting to go to at 7, my wild Friday night.
Hustling. All right. Take care.
Bye all.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bike Talk. If you want to hear more, go to kpfk.org, navigate to programs, and choose Bike Talk. On the Bike Talk page, click on the archives link to play or download shows posted in the last 4 months. Go to biketalk.com and copy or click on the RSS link to subscribe. Our Twitter handle is BikeTalkPFK. On Facebook, we are Bike Talk. You can become friends and join our group.